Hi there again. We're back, and this is video 2 of the jTerm course on WordPress. In the last video we talked about, and we went through the installation of the personal server and WordPress onto your local machine. And in this video we're going to show you, or I'm going to show you, a little bit about WordPress itself, the features, go over some of the terms, and go over how to upload images, make new posts, things like that. For right now, we're working with the default theme, which you can see here, and it's useful because it shows us a lot of the features. WordPress has actually, I think, designed this theme as kind of overkill to show everything that's possible with WordPress, and so it'll be a good way to illustrate just how this program works. So first of all, I'm going to go briefly over the layout of WordPress. Obviously, this is a browser, and just to get the terminology straight, or at least get a baseline for the terminology. We're going to go over some of the terms that we'll be using later in CSS. But for right now, everything here is contained within this wrapper, and you can see the boundaries of this wrapper with this white rectangle which extends from top to bottom, left to right. And it's centered, so it stays centered in the window. Then we go inside this wrapper where everything else is contained, and we have a header which includes the title. We have this little header image which is default stock. We have a menu with two items in it. Then we have room for content. We have a sidebar with different functions inside there and links. And then we have a footer which again has the name of the website and so any kind of information we want. Now in here, WordPress has a couple different I guess posts or way to display information, store and display information. The first we're going to talk about are pages, and you can see here WordPress comes with one default page, and that's the About page. I'm going to click on that. You click on it, everything stays the same. The header stays the same, the wrapper, the sidebar, footer, everything stays the same except for the content field. And you can see here there's some boilerplate text, and there is a reply field where you can enter in information, put a little comment, hit post comment, and then it'll show up on the page automatically. I'm going to go back. So that's a page. And the next one is a post, and we see there's one stock, or one default post that comes up called Hello World. I'm going to click on that. And also you can see the posts are displayed here on the sidebar. It says Hello World. So here on the post page, it has this boilerplate text again. It shows us the date that it was posted, who it was posted by, categories, and gives us other sort of metadata associated with it. Also, it has one comment that's already filled in, and this sort of just gives us an idea of how this website works in a very general, very simple way. So as you can see, it's pretty easy to work. You can click on all these things. You can see archives by date. There are categories, and then there are all these helper links that will take you to login, take you to RSS pages, etc. Briefly, I think it's important to talk about the difference between a post and a page, and this is a confusing topic for a lot of people. The main difference between posts and pages are that posts are meant for sort of more static content, that doesn't necessarily change something like an about page or a contact page where you have information that you don't need to update or change a whole lot, or that you need to keep in a separate order, as opposed to uh, posts, which this Hello World falls into, which are meant to be kept in chronological order. So in this case, by default, it's set up that the newest post floats to the top, and every time uh, you put a new post in, it'll come to the top, and anyone who's read a blog is familiar with that format. So let's go in. It's pretty simple, and let's go in and log into the website. Now, the website, this theme provides us with this login link, and it's useful, but a lot of themes, and probably ones that you'll create, you don't want people to see a login link, which is fine. I prefer not to. So in the browser URL, or the URL bar, I'm actually going to just add on after localhost colon 8888 forward slash jTerm forward slash WP slash admin. You can type in login, etc. But if you just remember WP-admin, that'll take you to a login page. So it just prompts you for your login information. Enter that in, press enter, and you're taken to the dashboard. So the dashboard is what we'll also refer to as the back end of the website. It's where all the administrative functions are held, where you add, update, and delete posts. It's where you approve or throw away comments. It's where you update software, implement new themes, add plugins, you manage your users. There are a lot of different things here, and it really pays to take a little bit of time to open each one of these little menus up, see what's there, and sort of tinker around with it a little bit. But I'll show you the basic functionality right now. So in the dashboard, we can see we have a brief overview, see how many posts, pages, categories we have. You can quickly make a post here. You can see comments. The first thing I want to do for us is actually add a new post. It's probably one of the things you'll be doing most frequently as you administer your portfolio or website. So if I just open up this post menu, I can just click posts, and I get a list of all of the current posts, and as we saw before, there was only one, this Hello World. I don't really want that, so I'm going to just trash it. I could go in and edit it, but I'd rather just delete it. And I'm going to make my own post. So I'm going to hit Add New. And I'm going to say, well, I recently made a trip to see Exeter Library by Louis Kahn. So I'm just going to title this one Exeter Library. Add in any sort of text I want. And if that was all I wanted to do, I could just press publish and be on my way. But there are a couple things I want to do first. Let's just hit preview, and this is before I save anything. If I hit preview, it opens up a new tab, and I see exactly what it's going to look like, my new post. And there's not a lot of text, and I did take some pictures that I wanted to share with people, so I'm going to go back and add some photos. So this is one of the main things. This class is geared towards producing a portfolio, so you'll be doing this quite a bit. Right below, right above the text editing window, next to where it says Upload Insert, you'll find 4 little icons, and the first one is Add an Image. It's the one I use the most. You click on it, and a little light box pops up. And there's a dialog here that allows you to choose files to upload. I'm just going to click on it, and I'm going to navigate to my picture of Exeter Library. Press Open, and it immediately starts downloading pretty quickly, and gives me a little information about it. The title's Exeter, has captions, descriptions, whole 9 yards. So if I hit Save Changes, close this window, I go back. Now nothing's really happened. I uploaded my image, but it hasn't shown up anywhere. So I think I want to put my image right at the beginning, so I'm just going to make a little space there. Move my cursor to the top. I'm going to go back, hit this add an image again. Instead of uploading another image, I can see over here that next to gallery I have a little 1 in parentheses here. It's just telling me that there's 1 image that I've uploaded to this post. So I see this one we just uploaded. I'm going to expand this window here by pressing Show, and I'm going to go down here to the bottom and just click on this Insert into Post. Hit that once, and come down here, and I see in my editing window, which I'm going to expand a little bit, that there it is. I see my images has popped up in this little window. I'm going to hit Preview, and there it is. It's a little small, but that'll be okay for now. So back in my editing window, there are a couple things I want to do. I'm going to want to add a category, because in this website, maybe this is a hypothetical web portfolio for Louis Kahn, I'm going to need some categories. I'm going to need a way to sort of sort different work from others, and categories is a good way to do that. So I'm going to go over here to this window here under categories, add a new category, and I'm going to call this one libraries, or library, which is fine. And then just click on add new category. Automatically pops into this window selected, and I'm happy with that. So it's a library. Now there's another thing too down here, which is post tags, and this is the source of a lot of confusion too, just as posts and pages can be confusing. The difference between categories and tags can also be confusing. Now essentially, categories are meant to be sort of much larger bins for you to put your projects or your posts into, while tags are meant to be a little bit more descriptive. So, well, I have this categorized, this Exeter library categorized as a library, I might also add in for tags school, concrete, New Hampshire, and I can always add more later, but those 3 will be fine. Now, how you actually organize your posts and your website will depend a lot on how you want to do it. My own personal website, I use categories, but I do not use tags. You might do it the other way around. It really doesn't matter. It's your preference. But just know that there is a difference between the two. Also, another big difference between categories and tags is that tags can also be given a hierarchy. So I could make a subcategory of, library East Coast and then library West Coast, while tags cannot be hierarchical. Okay, so there are a lot of different options here. I can turn off or allow or disallow comments on this posts. I can change the author if there are more authors in this in my WordPress installation. but I'm going to keep it pretty simple, and I'm just going to hit publish. When I hit publish, it gives me this little alert up here that says post published, and then I just click on the button. It takes me straight to that post. So this looks exactly like the preview that we saw, but if we go home, we go back to the home URL, the root URL, we see that, if everything's the same, and then here's the first post. You see down here, posted in library, tagged with Concrete, New Hampshire School. So that's great. I'm going to add in one more just so we can have more than one post. So again, I go back to the dashboard, hit posts. I could also go just right up here very quickly, just hit new post. I'm going to call this one Salk, because I also went to the Salk Institute. Again, I'm going to upload my image. This time I'm going to do it first. And straight from here, insert into post. I'm not going to add any text here just for the interest of time, but I am going to add a new category, and this one is going to be California. No real rhyme or reason. Concrete School. And then I'm going to hit publish. Now, if I didn't want to publish that right away, I could have hit the save as draft. Now, if I wanted to unpublish it or change it back, remove it from the public view, I can always go into the post, edit it, and change the status, which is up here, from published to pending review or draft, and change it and then update it. But that's okay for now. So if we go back to our root URL, we now see that we have the second post here, the Salk one that I just created, that's appeared at the top, and it's pushed the first post, this Exeter Library post, down to second place. Okay, so all that's well and good. So far, so good. We're gonna now let's add a contact page, because I really want people to be able to email me with questions or to be able to get information, and also all the job offers that I'm going to get from this. So if I go back to the dashboard on the left-hand side, in the column I see pages here, and if I go straight to pages, I'm going to click on pages and add new. Just going to add in my new contact information. And there's not a lot that I need to do there. I'm just going to hit publish. Go back to the root URL, and we see that on this navigation bar below the header, it's automatically added contact, and there's my content. So great, we've added two posts and a page. Now, the next thing, we'll go back to Site Admin. I'm going to show you something that really there's a lot of different things that are available in WordPress in terms of settings, and let's just take a look at what a few of those are. So if you open up the Settings tab, which is the bottom of the left-hand column, you'll come across a bunch of different menu items, and the first one I want to show you is General, and this is where the basic information of your website is stored. If you ever need to change the name of your website, you can do that here. This tagline, you can change the URL, who can register for your website, etc., etc., etc. There's a lot of different information here, and some of it you may never even need to touch, because you might not add those components into your website in the end. One of the most important ones, one of the most useful settings here is reading, and this really controls what goes out onto your website. So under reading settings, I can choose whether the front page or my root URL when I navigate to jTerm shows my latest posts, which are the ones on Exeter and Salk Center. Or if I want to change it to a static page, something like my About or my Contact page. Like here I can also control how many posts are shown. So the default is 10, which is pretty standard for a blog. But if you're working with a portfolio, you probably might want to show more than 10. If you've got more than 10 projects, you'll want to show those. So you can bump this up to whatever you need it to be, an arbitrarily high number. I think I have mine set up to 100. And if I need more, then I'll just push that up again. So, just to show you that work, I have 2 blog posts. I'm going to change it to 1. Hit Save Changes. If I go back to my root URL, I see that there I've only got the most recent post showing. And there's a little button down here that lets me to navigate to the older posts. Okay. So I'm going to undo that. Save changes. The next thing you'll probably want to do is, let me open up a new tab, is you can see that we have this URL. It's the base URL is jTerm, and when we click on and say a post, the URL then turns into jTerm / p equals 10, which is a little confusing. It's not very clean. And it's definitely not understandable. When we click on this contact page that we created, we get question mark page _ID equals 13. Now these are known as query strings, and this is how WordPress knows which page to render. But there's a much cleaner way to do it that's behind the scenes. So let's go ahead and make those changes. Again, under Settings in the Control Panel, we navigate to the bottom. The very last menu item is permalinks. Go ahead and click on that. And there are a few different settings. The default here we see is we get jTerm / p equals 1, 2, 3. Again, that's kind of ugly, so we want to make them much prettier. And we can choose between these presets, so you can show, jTerm, and then it shows the time and the day and name of the post, or you can show it by the month and the name that it was posted, or by the numeric, or by the number, or we can make our own, and that's what I'm going to do. So since I would like to have something that just says jTerm / Salk as my URL, I'm just going to change this custom structure to / post name. Now the post name is surrounded by these percent signs, which is important. It's how WordPress parses this. So my strategy is usually just to select one of these, figure out which ones I want to show, and delete the rest. So my custom structure should just be jTerm / and then the name of the post or page. So once I've done that, I'm just going to hit Save Pages. And it gives me the confirmation. Go back to this. Now if I refresh this page, you see that the URL is now jTerm / contact, which is much better. So we go to Salk, jTerm / Salk. It makes me feel a lot better. Great, so those are 2 very important settings. Now, we're not really interested too much in making blogs. We're focused on making portfolios. So we're going to want to change the theme. And WordPress provides a pretty easy way to do that. So if we go back to the dashboard, and on the left-hand column, we navigate down to Appearance and open that up. We get a lot of different things: themes, widgets, menus, background, header, and editor. go ahead and click on Theme. When you open up Theme, we are given this theme management window, and we see the current theme, which is 2010. That's the default theme, the one that's installed with every copy of WordPress. And then under here we have available themes, but there are none. So if we click on this Install Themes, given a bunch of different, things that we can search for, let's just go ahead and check some. Let's say I'm interested in a one column, orange, fixed width, that's good for photo blogging. And then hit Find Themes. And unfortunately not too many come up, as in none. So I'm just going to widen my search. And a bunch of things come up. Monotone, AppNut. Haven't really gone through these before, but let's just choose one. Click on it, preview. It's good enough for me right now. And right underneath the theme that you want, there are two different options, Install and Preview. I'm just going to hit Install. Install now. It shows me that it's installed. And I'm just going to activate it. So now in my Manage Theme menu that it's taken me back to, it shows me that the current theme is Elegant Grunge, which I just downloaded. And if I go back to my website, hit refresh, got a brand new looking website. It's a little abrasive, but it's different. So that's a really easy way to change your theme. Now, one of the problems I've found is that this is great for if you have a blog or a photo blog, those types of things, but if you have a portfolio, there really aren't a lot of really good options to choose from. In fact, when I type in portfolio, I get 8 different choices, and none of them really jump out to me as that great. So this is where we have to start going off the beaten path a little bit to install our own theme. So I've shown you how to install your own theme via this dashboard, but it's really important to understand how to install it manually also. What I'm going to do is navigate back to Finder. So I have my Finder window open here. I'm in my localhost folder, which we made last time in the last video, jTerm, and these are all the WordPress files. This is the WordPress folder that we downloaded from the internet, and it has a bunch of different files, PHP files, and there are a few other JavaScript files buried in there. But the one we're really most concerned about is content. 99% of these you'll never touch. So let's go to WordPress content, and inside here where you have plugins, themes, upgrade, and uploads. Really what we're interested right now is in themes. So in themes, when we open up that folder, we have two subfolders, which we have the default 2010 and the Elegant Grunge, the one we just downloaded. So we see that this is where the themes live. Each theme has its own folder, and inside each folder is a copy of all the files with the instructions for displaying the website and the style sheet information, etc. This is the inside of the 2010 theme, and it's got a lot of different files. In fact, it has 26 different items, including 2 folders, has translations, it's got a lot of different things. And like I said before, it's sort of to showcase what WordPress is capable of. And a lot of these things really are not necessary for most people, and definitely not us. So if I go back to this themes folder, I'm going to add in my own custom theme. Now I'll make this available to all of you. It's just a very simple theme that I'm calling ultra lightweight for no good reason. But if I look up ultra lightweight here, I have 11 items as opposed to the 20, 26 or whatever they were before in 2010, and even these could be whittled down further. So all I had to do was drop that folder into the themes folder, and if I go back to my browser and I'm in the dashboard, I'm going to go back to Manage Themes. When I go back to Manage Themes, I see that right next to the 2010, which I just deactivated, I see that it's automatically detected that I've dropped in a new theme, my ultra lightweight theme 1.0. Now this is not meant to be a portfolio necessarily, but it's a very good start, and it's based on the website Indexhibit, or the software Indexhibit. So I'm just going to activate that. And if I go back to the WordPress site, refresh, I get something that's extremely bare bones. But it's got most of the things that I'll actually need. So I have the name of the website, I have a list of the pages, I have a list of the posts, I have a mini footer that's not actually at the bottom, but it gives the information. And then I have the posts in order, and right now it shows the title and it shows the body of the post. And that's it. There really is no style sheet information. All this is just the default fonts, default colors, and really this is meant to be a blank canvas. Now I'll be adding a few more adjustments and quite a few more bells and whistles as we go on, but this actually is a functioning website. If I click on Sulk, I click here, the title becomes smaller and is no longer a link, but the content is here. I can click on the contact page. Everything's here. It works just as it should, but I'll be showing you how you can change this into something that's your own work and shows your portfolio in the way that you'd like. So come back next time and we'll be going over some CSS and some PHP code that will change the way that this website works and looks.